Good afternoon. I'm Robert Dick of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada and the IUCN Dark Sky Advisory Group. I'm delivering this presentation for our group chair, Dr. David Welch, who was unable to attend this meeting. The timeline for World Dark Sky Places began in 1993 at the Hudson Recreation Center in the United States. It was a local idea. This initiative finally became a done deed because of the combined efforts of people with a range of talents to make it work, including the development of legislation that would ban outdoor lighting within the park. Initially, it was a trial program with a 10-year sunset clause, but it proved to be popular and the state of Michigan made it permanent in 2004. It's interesting that the political idea was that it was for people, that is stargazing, not telescopes. Although there had probably been many dark sky preserves in the past, the Michigan group were the first to take it to the next level and make it official. The concept of dark sky preserves in Canada began with the Torrance Barrens, a provincial conservation reserve in Ontario. It was a seed for the Canadian Dark Sky Preserve program. It was soon followed by the IDA's Dark Sky Places program, and then later, in the United Nations, UNESCO added the concept of archaeoastronomy to their heritage definitions. We'll highlight three dark sky programs here: the Royal Astronomical Society program, or the RASC program, the International Dark Sky Association program, or the IDA program, and the Starlight Fondation. The RASC began its light pollution abatement program in 1991, which promoted local awareness. But as a national organization, the RASC needed a program with a higher profile. The RASC saw a dark sky program as a way to break out of the preaching to the choir and getting into the public eye. The Torrance Barrens gave them that program. To help its way through the government, the Muskoka Heritage Foundation approached the RASC for support. This followed a similar set of events as in Michigan, but it fit well into the existing legislation for Ontario parks. The RASC only had to point this out to the government department. Soon other organizations around the world took on the duty to protect the night sky. A shift in focus for the RASC occurred in 2003 with the Ecology of the Night Conference, which was hosted by Parks Canada and a few other environmental organizations. It highlighted the ecological consequences of outdoor lighting. This conference redefined the focus of the RASC Dark Sky program. The most important addition to the program was the Canadian Guidelines for Outdoor Lighting, which I mentioned earlier in this conference that we call Seagull. It was developed to address the legislative mandate of Parks Canada and that of other provincial park agencies: ecological protection and visitor access. The guidelines gave the program a much wider application because, 1, it addressed the specific requirements of the park agencies. They're not responsible for astronomy. 2nd, it has a science-based approach that includes the ecological thresholds of wildlife and human vision. 3rd, it covers a wide range of applications that are found in national, provincial, and municipal parks. And last, it has similarity to some of the industrial guidelines, as discussed in my previous presentation. The concise yet broad approach to lighting with common sense arguments and simple techniques, which have been developed by asset managers in the parks, has led to a mini textbook on light pollution abatement. The RASC credits this document for the early acceptance of their dark sky program. For the first 15 years of the IDA, the focus was on public awareness with the dissemination of information. With the growing popularity of dark sites, they introduced their International Dark Sky Place program in 2007. They successfully expanded this program to many areas around the world, and it covers a range of land uses. However, as with the RAC, the IDA is recognizing the need for constant review of existing sites. The flexibility that allows many varied sites to receive designation has also become complex and a challenge to manage.
The IDA is also faced with working in other countries with different government systems and cultures, which hinders the protection of designated sites. Growing out of the first Starlight Conference in 2007 is the Fondation Starlight, or more recently called Starlight Initiative. They host international workshops and also provide designations for dark sites, some of which are promoted as tourist destinations. I'm not able to discuss these in any detail. However, we think having more international organizations promoting dark sky programs adds respectability to what began as a local amateur concern for preserving their view of the night sky and raising awareness of the impact of artificial light at night on the ecological integrity of the landscape. The challenge in our future is to work in areas where there is built infrastructure. These are the areas where artificial light at night has the greatest impact, where the trend towards more light is strongest, and they are the heart from which artificial light at night diffuses out across the countryside. However, the authority of these organizations seems to be having this effect. Regional and national governments are beginning to legislate the reduction of light pollution. The effectiveness of these laws is still in question, but consider the state of air and water pollution less than 50 years ago. Once governments take the issue seriously, things can happen. If not for our generation, then for the next. Protection of the night has grown organically. The long list of different designations is very confusing. The terminology sprawls through the dictionary, exacerbated by the different aspirations behind each application. Individually, the designation makes sense, but as a system, it is in need of an overhaul if dark sky programs are to become a global phenomenon. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, or the IUCN, and its Dark Sky Advisory Group, called DSAG, has developed a more rational nomenclature based on their existing general environmental classification categories. Note that they address the ecological merit of the designation and its use. I'd like to point out that the most common or most popular designation is the protected natural area. Historically, these areas have had no infrastructure and are inherently dark, so it recognizes the importance of preserving the nocturnal ecology of the environment. The current list of protected areas as of a month ago shows an obvious clustering in North America and Europe. However, we find it gratifying that this trend is expanding into other parts of the world. The histogram of this growth shows the trend is leveling out, but we think this is because the low-hanging fruit has been picked. Our challenge is to climb higher in the tree. The RASC used to be approached by parks that wanted to become dark sky preserves. They are now beginning to reach out to prospective parks to discuss the ecological and financial benefits of a dark sky designation. Only by speaking to the unaware can we build wider support for protecting the night. We have set the foundations, but as in the construction of a strong building, we now need a different set of skills to advance the work. Urban areas will be a tough nut to crack. It will require people with political skills and media contacts, but we can now point to the successful case studies and the growing momentum in urban areas. The dark sky movement has stepped beyond the rumblings of amateur astronomers and academia. The IDA, IUCN, RASC, and others have built public reputations and earned their respect. The term light pollution is starting to be used in the popular media. We now have governments that actively demonstrate and legislate what we have been promoting for several decades. However, the IDA and the RASC have witnessed backsliding in a few of their dark sky places. The momentum is weakening under the industry mantra of brighter and whiter, which is supported by industry-wide promotional campaigns. All we have is a passion and no funds to lobby, but we have attracted the attention of the media. Our current gains need to be entrenched into our societies. Perhaps one strategy could be supporting and promoting the respect for nature that was so profound in our indigenous cultures and was undermined after the period of colonization. Reinvigorating a respect for nature will allow us to taint artificial light at night with the same stigma that's associated with air and water pollution. The takeaway message is to reach out beyond the delegates in this conference. Speak to your neighbors, not just your colleagues.
Thank you very much.